Boston Mayor Michelle Wu here to welcome you to the 2023 Ginger Forum. I have always been grateful to the Joslin Diabetes Center for the work you do to combat diabetes in our Asian American community. Last year, I had the opportunity to join you for a taste of ginger and was moved by the center's commitment to this urgent life-saving work year after year. Just as discussions about health and communities of color demand cultural sensitivity, medicine for Asian Americans requires culturally relevant care. That's why I'm so excited about the Ginger Forum. It's spaces like this that are doing that critical work of making meaningful progress to ensure our communities are safe and comfortable when receiving life-saving care. I am so grateful to Joslin Diabetes and the AADI for holding this space and working tirelessly to raise awareness and improve care for Asian Americans living with diabetes across the city, Commonwealth, and country. I hope you all have a productive and insightful time at the Ginger Forum.
It now gives me great pleasure to introduce I've never called him this before because I think it'll ginormousize his ego, if that's a word, the visionary behind the Asian American Diabetes Initiative. Dr. George King is the Director of Research, Senior Vice President, and Head of the Section of Vascular Cell Biology here at Joslin. He's also a Professor of Medicine at Harvard Medical School. He is the person who 25 years ago, up to 25 years ago, spearheaded and mobilized our community to create the Asian American Diabetes Initiative. He pushed Joslin Diabetes Center back in those days to make AADI a priority. We hear, and Asian Americans all over the country and the world owe him a huge debt of gratitude. And I am thrilled to introduce Dr. King for his opening remarks, and then subsequently, he is going to host the very first panel. So thank you.
Thanks everyone for coming it is a rainy day, but I guess we're used to that. It's been raining for the last 15 weeks or something on the weekends. But again, thanks everyone for coming. I think this is actually a very important event, and it's actually evolved from our previous venue which is a major food tasting event, and into more educational forum, which many of you have suggested for us to do. And also it's sort of, a lot of things changes, but sometimes they go back to where we start off from. 20 years ago, when we first started this, it was a very similar event. It wasn't really at the Museum of Fine Art or others. And Lever actually initiated with Jasper White and Benton here, Beck here for that event where we had more food tasting and increased awareness. But the purpose really has changed over the years. But first, let me just thank the individuals who put this together. And this is really, again, very similar to the beginning. And it's a totally volunteer effort. And this is really, really different from the ginger tasting event. First, I want to thank Lever. As I mentioned, he been supportive of us right at the beginning. We took care of his father, who I actually took care of, who was board of trustees in the 1980s. For easily 20 years, he was on the board. So I want to thank him for helping us for many, many years. In addition, volunteered for being the major domo for this whole event. We were looking for people who energetic, charismatic, and can be witty for 4 hours. So everybody said, lever, of course. So I want to thank him certainly, and the committee chairs for this event, the Henry Hay, who unfortunately cannot be here today due to medical issues. I guess he's attended too many big events, and also who actually is already now, we can announce, to be head of endocrine and diabetes for all the Stewart Hospital system, so certainly will have some influence on diabetes care in the Massachusetts. We also want to really thank Xuanyi Yi from CSoft, who's also co-chair and brought her staff to actually help us run this event as well. She also recently kindly joined as a board of trustees for Joslin. Then we have wonderful committee members who over the last 6 months met every month to help us organize this event, which you are here, and you have the agenda that is, I think, is very, very informative. So we also have donors from many donors over the many years that have helped us, easily many of them 20 years of this event. Certainly, I just want to mention Xuanyi Yi again from CSoft, who's major donor, Nick and Eva Chow. I think Nick's here, who again from Taitung Pharmacy and Corporation. Again, we met 1981, I think, and been supportive of us for a long time. Eric Tiberi from South Cove Community Health Center. Every year has been donating. I think Harry's been here somewhere. I don't. Oh, been helping us as well. Carol and Jeff Horowitz, who not here. Deb and Dick Carlson, who's been supportive and was actually board of trustee here. Carol Chin is here and many years supporter. And Larry Ho, who's been supporting us for, again, over 20 years. And they flew all the way from Los Angeles because they haven't seen rain for 2 months. I think the only reason they came was because of rain. I'm just joking. So do want to thank them for coming, and they've been supportive besides our effort with financial support for many years. And Dr. Will Xu, Dr. Fiener, Dr. Yue Lin, all previously part of Joslin in the past on the faculty here. We certainly, as you mentioned, our chairman is here, Marty Pasquanini. Our president, Roberta Herman, is very supportive of Joslin effort, and are our speakers. Every one of our speakers got up early and came, and they, again, all volunteers. Everybody I mentioned are volunteers. Okay, so really thankful. They from BU, BC. I presume everybody know what BU, BCs are, right? BIDMC, Stewart Hospital System, South Cove, Dorchester House, Quincy Community Health Center, and other. I hope I didn't miss anybody. And then we, as part of food tasting, we cannot not have food. So around 12, we will have some lunch. And again, as I always, every year, it says, this is a diabetes center. We should eat carefully. All right. So we want to thank Jamie and Tony from the Fuji Group. They have a whole host of Fuji restaurants across Massachusetts. Marcella Art in Needham, Mr. Kapoor due to Dr. Ganda's help, has been supporting us over 20 years. And Foley of Cambridge and Dorchester with Trent Lay, who's, you can notice these are different part of Asia restaurants, right? And the bows are from 180 Cafe in Chinatown, so we don't want to leave Chinatown out. And then we have Modern Bakery, who's been coming forever. Now, there, I just want to make sure you don't eat the whole cannoli, guys. Just, if you see the big one, just cut it in half, all right? Yeah, well, I think I saw the big one. Every year we ask the small one, the big ones always show up. So where's Karen? Karen told me they're like 700 calories per cannoli. So, and we have wonderful tea, gourmet tea from Gilbert and Alvin Tang. I think Alvin's here. I don't know where he is. Oh, he's standing back there. From Gourmet Tea Imports, MEM Tea Imports, who have been really, really supportive of our effort. And lastly, I also want to thank the AADI and the Joslin people and the CSOF people who really helped us put this together. So we have Chihiro Sato, who really, oh, there's Chihiro, who really coordinated everything, and with Karen Lau and Julia. Oh, Julia's outside, I think, because she can't move because she broke her ankle. And the AV, Jared, and Ishem from my lab, actually, and Alex from IT here, and Jose, who's going to be helping us with all the facility, and the AV people and the facility people from CSOFT. I think Vanessa is here, right? I don't know. Nobody's raising a hand, so oh, wait, in the back as well. So I hope I didn't leave too many people out. I'm sure I left some people out. So we're gonna start now with sort of the program. As I said, we have a change, and one reason for the change is on going forward, I think we need some directions, and we love to hear your help on where we want to go. Because in the past, as you could see, the AADI was formed about 20 years ago. And the goal is to do research, education, outreach, and Asian clinic. And the reason for that was 20 years ago, there's not really a whole lot of awareness about diabetes in Asian Americans. I always tell the story of my father in the 1980s, developed type 2 diabetes. And his doctor, who happened to train with me at NIH, told him to eat well, eat better, start exercise, and lose weight. Well, you know, for a 72-year-old Chinese American, exercise is not exactly very, for a lot of Asians, exercise is not a good word. They don't really want to exercise. So, but we told them to walk. Sanbu is a Chinese word, which means you walk, which is totally fine. And on top of that, I said, you can't lose any weight. He was 5'5", 125 pounds. I said, I called up his doctor, who, again, we trained together. I said, Bob, he's 125 pounds, 5'5". How much weight do you want him to lose? He goes, well, you know. I said, no. I said, it's no weight loss. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about, is most Asian Americans have diabetes at very low body weight. And this actually was not recognized in the 1980s, 1990s, and even 2000. That's the reason why we formed that. And, you know, actually my father was a big success story, is that he walked, we made sure he ate a little better, and do a little bit of exercise. And after 2 years, he was off all medications. And for 15 years, he was fine until he was 90 years old. So, but you know, then he went out metformin. So which is not too bad. So I'm gonna go forward. So what have we done? People say, okay, you've been at it for 20 years. What have you done? So we have done quite a bit. So I'm gonna just highlight 4 things. One is that the Asian clinic. We have a very active Asian clinic, and we're the only Asian clinic really on the East Coast. For a reason not clear, there's still not that many, but in California, in Seattle, they actually have them. This is very, very important, and we have improved this disparity. People who refer to us, compared to the general population, all have much higher A1C when they first refer to us. A1C for measuring glucose control, compared to the rest of the referral to Joslin. But after 1 year, our record of care, which is glucose control, lipid, blood pressure, is equal to the rest of the Joslin clinic. Education, we're the first one to develop these culturally appropriate materials. American Diabetes Association at 2000 essentially just translated everything into Chinese and other Asian languages. But as you know, food is very different in Asian Americans and the rest of the country. So we are the leading center for the education material. Even the CDC, NIH, and so forth borrow our materials. Research, we have clinical research. We actually did a traditional Asian diet study due to support from many people that cost us $2 or $3 million to do that study to show traditional Asian diet is actually very, very helpful. It's high carb. Everybody always eyebrow goes up. It's 70% carb, and but it's all vegetables. So it's a complex carb, right? And now we are looking at continued glucose monitor study funded by NIH, because turn out no study of, we're going to talk about it, has ever been done in Asian American. No study in Asian Americans. Completely overlooked for forever on multiple things I won't go into. and we also have we're the co-leader in the first national coalition to look at diabetes. And to do that, we actually did something that's really remarkable, is we got the CDC to incorporate Asian Americans in a study called NHANES. I won't go into, but Frank here, you're going to hear from, knows all about. This is the major government study that they based a lot of reimbursement policy on. So this is for 20 years. It started in the 1970s and was not started including Asian until 2011. So this took a lot of effort, and from that, I think we have done a lot. And then we have national campaign to screen at 23, BMI of 23. So these are just the 4 major things we have done. So now what we want to talk about today is some of the events, some of the topics, that what are we going to do going forward? Somebody said, okay, you did this wonderful, but what are you going to do now, right? How are you going to help the Asians with diabetes now, since now we're going to diagnose them? And so what are the treatment and the issue that we're going to proceed?